Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you set a goal that absolutely terrified you? I'm not talking about something you think you can do. I'm talking about something so big, so bold, that it shakes your spirit and pulls you out of bed in the morning. That's the kind of goal that changes your life. But here's the truth. Most people don't set real goals. Most people set goals that are far too small, far too safe. They choose what feels familiar, what feels and what fits inside their current circumstances. But that's not how real growth happens. A real goal must stretch you. It must challenge everything you believe about yourself. It must force you to think bigger, act braver, and push through resistance you didn't even know was there. That's where transformation lives. The purpose of a goal isn't to get, it's to grow. When you set a goal that takes you beyond what you've done before, it draws out potential that's been lying dormant. You start operating on a new frequency, one aligned with abundance, belief, and boldness. Most people set goals based on what they think they can do, based on past results, current bank accounts, current skill sets. But if you only set goals based on what you've already done, you'll keep creating the same results over and over again. That's not a goal. That's repetition. A real goal is based on desire, not memory. It's based on vision, not limitation. And yes, it should scare you a little. That fear, that discomfort, that's a signal you're moving towards something real. That's your spirit expanding. The truth is, your comfort zone is not your friend. It's a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. You have to leave the safety of what you know and step into the unknown. You have to allow yourself to dream in dimensions that go beyond logic. Because goals that work don't start with logic. They start with imagination. Imagination is the first step to creation. When you stretch, when you dream big, you invite new energy into your life. You challenge the beliefs that have kept you small. You force your self-presentation to evolve, and your results will always match the level of your self-perceive. The goal must be big enough to demand a new version of you. That's how it works. Not just a to-do list item, not something to casually check off. It must be something that elevates your awareness, sharpens your focus, and drives your behavior every single day. When the goal stretches you, it begins to transform you. It becomes a force of momentum, not just motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but when you're being stretched towards something that means everything to you, that goal starts pulling you. A goal that isn't written down is nothing more than a vague intention floating in your mind. It has no structure, no commitment, no energy attached to it. Writing your goal down is the moment you take it from the invisible to the visible. It's the first real act of creation. You're declaring to yourself and to the universe that you mean business. When you write it down, you're not just jotting words on paper. You're giving your desire form. You're activating clarity, because a written goal forces you to be specific. Most people keep their goals trapped in their head, where they stay abstract and open to distraction. But when you put that goal in writing, you've made a decision. You've locked it in. That written statement becomes a guidepost. It gives your mind a target, your actions a direction, and your energy a focus. The act of writing is powerful because it moves your idea from the subconscious into conscious intention. It brings you out of passive daydreaming and into active pursuit. That's where results are born. From committed intention. Your written goal should be present tense, clear, and emotionally charged. You don't write, "I want to make more money." You write, "I am earning $100,000 and 0 cents a year doing work I love." That kind of language programs your subconscious with clarity and certainty. It speaks the language of belief, and belief is the fuel behind all achievement. When you read your goal every day, it begins to seep into your thinking. Your awareness shifts. Your actions align. You start to see opportunities you were blind to before. You begin to feel pulled by your goal instead of pushing toward it. That written goal becomes your compass. It reminds you of where you're going when distractions show up. It keeps you anchored when doubts creep in. You don't need to know how it will happen. You just need to keep the image clear and written, because the how will reveal itself to the person who is committed to the what. The written goal becomes a tool of accountability. It tells your mind, your heart, and your habits that this is no longer optional. This is happening. You look at that paper and you're reminded that you've already made the decision. You're not hoping anymore. You're not guessing. You're acting from a place of certainty. Seeing the goal clearly in your mind is where everything truly begins. If you can't see it, you'll never believe it. You'll never move toward it with the kind of energy that produces results. Visualization is more than imagination. It's mental rehearsal. It's training your subconscious mind to accept a new reality before it physically shows up. The mind doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one, and that is the power you must tap into. When you consistently visualize your goal as already achieved, you are conditioning yourself to act and feel as though it's real now. That's how results begin to change, not by waiting, but by preparing in your mind for what's coming. You must hold the image of your goal with clarity, with consistency, and with emotion. Not once in a while, not when it's convenient, but daily. You become what you think about, and what you emotionally connect to over and over again becomes the dominating force of your life. The problem most people have is they try to act their way into belief. But belief doesn't start with action. It starts with vision. You must see yourself in possession of the goal. You must hear the sounds, feel the emotions, sense the environment. The more sensory rich your visualization, the more deeply it embeds in your subconscious. Your subconscious mind doesn't work in words, it works in pictures and feelings. And when the picture is strong enough, the behavior starts to follow. You begin to attract ideas, people, and circumstances that match that internal picture. That's not magic, it's alignment. The clearer you are internally, the more focused your actions become externally. Confusion clouds behavior, but clarity breeds confidence. And visualization sharpens that clarity like nothing else. Athletes use it, entrepreneurs use it, high performers in every field use it because it works. You've got to live in the image of your success before the world gives it to you. If you only rely on what you can see with your eyes, you'll stay stuck in your current results. But when you see with your mind's eye, you begin to lead your life instead of react to it. The image you hold becomes the mold for your future. You have to start acting as if the goal is already yours. This is where most people hesitate. They wait for evidence before they change their behavior. But waiting for proof keeps you locked in your current results. You can't create new results from the same level of thinking and action. You must step into the identity of the person who already has what you want. That means shifting your habits, your language, your posture, your decisions. Every action you take either moves you closer to your goal or keeps you stuck in your old story. When you act as if, you align your mind and body with the frequency of the result you're after. You're telling the universe, and more importantly, your subconscious mind, that you are serious. You're creating congruence between what you say you want and how you actually live. That's when the shift begins. You don't wait to feel confident to act confidently. You act confidently, and the feeling follows. You don't wait to be wealthy to think like a wealthy person. You start making decisions from the mindset of abundance, not scarcity. The world responds to the energy you emit, and when you behave as if your goal is real, people and opportunities begin to show up in alignment with that version of you. You begin to rewire your identity, and your identity, more than anything else, dictates your outcomes. You can't outperform your self-position, so you have to build a new one. Every day ask yourself, how does the version of me who already achieved this goal think? How do they spend their time? What do they eliminate? What do they prioritize? Then start living from those answers. This isn't about pretending. It's about becoming. You're not faking anything. You're stepping into the future you and letting that version drive your decisions now. When you act as if, you create emotional certainty before physical certainty arrives. And emotional certainty is what propels action even when the results haven't shown up yet. It's what keeps you moving when the doubts try to pull you back. When you walk like it's done, speak like it's done, plan like it's done, the goal begins to respond. Life mirrors your belief, and belief is most clearly expressed through action. A goal without purpose is just noise. It might excite you for a moment, but it won't sustain you when the challenges show up. Purpose is what fuels your persistence, your focus, and your resilience. It's the fire underneath the goal, the reason behind the effort. When you set a goal that's aligned with your purpose, it feels different. It pulls at you from within. It gives meaning to the work, even when the results aren't immediate. Too often, people chase goals because they think they should, because someone told them it's what success looks like, or because it sounds impressive on paper. But if that goal doesn't light you up inside, you'll lose interest the moment it becomes uncomfortable. Purpose is personal. It's not about what the world values. It's about what resonates deeply with who you are and who you're becoming. That connection between your goal and your purpose gives your journey direction and integrity. You stop needing external validation because the internal fire is strong enough to keep you going. When your goal is driven by something greater than status or money, your energy becomes magnetic. You start working with enthusiasm instead of pressure. You make better decisions because they're rooted in meaning, not just momentum. And you attract the kind of people and resources that align with your mission. Purpose brings clarity. When you know why you want something, you stop chasing distractions. You become more disciplined, not out of force, but out of alignment. You know what's a yes and what's a no. Every day becomes an opportunity to move with intention instead of reaction. You wake up with a sense of direction. You approach challenges as part of the process, not as roadblocks. And you begin to feel a deeper connection to your actions because they're no longer random. They're reflections of who you really are. Purpose turns a goal into a calling. It transforms work into contribution. When your goal aligns with your values, your gifts, and your heart, you begin to play a different game. You're no longer chasing, you're creating. You're no longer hustling, you're building something that matters. The energy behind your action shifts from pressure to power, from fear to faith, from hustle to harmony. Too many people wait until everything feels perfect before they take action. They wait for the right moment, the right mood, the right level of confidence. But success doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. It comes from showing up consistently, even when it's inconvenient, even when you're uncertain, even when it's uncomfortable. That's the secret. Discipline is the bridge between your goal and your reality. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. Perfection is a myth that keeps people paralyzed. They think if they can't do it flawlessly, it's not worth starting. But growth happens through messy, imperfect action. You learn by doing, by failing forward, by staying in motion when most people give up. Every time you act with discipline, you strengthen your identity. You start to see yourself as someone who follows through, who keeps their word, who gets things done regardless of circumstance. That identity builds momentum. It fuels confidence. It makes the next step easier. And with every small act of discipline, you're moving the needle closer to your goal. It doesn't always look dramatic. It's not always exciting, but it's always effective. People often overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year of consistent effort. Discipline compounds. Tiny, consistent actions done daily create massive long-term change. And the beauty of discipline is that it doesn't rely on motivation. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. But discipline is a decision. You do it because you said you would. You do it because the goal matters more than your mood. That's where real power is born. The more you practice discipline, the less resistance you feel. It becomes part of who you are. You no longer have to force yourself. You flow into the work, because it's just what you do. That kind of consistency beats talent, beats luck, beats timing. It separates the dreamers from the doers. You can have the best goal, the clearest vision, the strongest desire, but without discipline, nothing happens. Discipline is the execution muscle. It's the commitment to keep showing up, to keep learning, to keep refining, even when progress feels slow. It's doing the work when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when the results haven't shown up yet.